you mentioned about going public and a while ago, and some of the challenges that that brings. What do you think are those challenges for this year and the potential big rewards, not just for you guys, but in the property market over the coming months over this year?
Yeah, I think the first step really, Nat, is to overcome, and this applies to all listed firms. I think we've got to overcome the sentiment that you touched on earlier, and the sentiment is you've had your glory. Now what comes next? And I think that is the sentiment in a lot of investors' minds. And what I've been saying to investors over the last few months is that the forecast actually for this year, most people are forecasting that transactions will return back to around 1.2 million, which is the normal level that we've seen sort of pre-COVID. So it seems that stock levels at the moment are tight, both on lettings and on sales.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, we still think transactions will hold up pretty well. I guess Easter will be a very telling time for property sales to see whether the Easter market is as busy as we hope it will be. On the letting side, we're ever so busy. And bear in mind that if you forget financial services, sort of 75 to 80% of our revenue still comes from lettings. So we're good at estate agency, and we'll sell, or we sold in 2021 sort of 13, 14,000 properties. It's a significant number.
Right,
but a lot of our business still, or most of our business still comes from letting. So point being, stock is going to be tight. If stock is too tight, that will restrict the number of transactions on both lettings and on sales. But if stock starts to come through sort of, from March, April onwards, I think we still could be in for a reasonably good year in terms of transaction volumes.
Okay. All right. No, that's brilliant. Okay, thanks. So finally, last question for you. I just want to talk about prop tech for a little bit, something that's close to my heart, as you know. What sort of prop tech do you guys employ throughout the organisation, and are you an advocate?
Yeah, I think that franchising actually as a business model has inherent strengths and it has inherent weaknesses.
Yeah.
And one of its strengths is that you've got a franchisee at the heart of the business. They really want to do well, they really want to grow, and they really want to do a fabulous job for their client. And on top of that, in models like ours, they're in it for the long term because it's quite a high investment to start up or to start off. And if you've invested a lot, you're less likely to want to leave and do something else after a year or 2 or 3 years. So, and bear in mind, our first ever franchisee is still with us after all, which is incredible after all this time. But some of the inherent weaknesses are that if you've got a franchise business, very different to a corporate, it's difficult for a franchisor to implement something and then have it running instantly, within a month or 2 months. It tends to be slower to sort of roll things out to franchise networks. So kind of what I'm coming to is, I am a huge fan of prop tech. I follow it very closely, but actually we've built a service-based model where our clients genuinely, on the letting side, for example, get a very expert service from a team of people on the ground who deeply understand lettings.
It's very much a personal service what you guys do, isn't it?
It is. We've got we're managing 70,000 properties. It's a significant portfolio, and we are generally very good at it. Where our franchisees are very good at it. So what I wouldn't want to ever see is sort of prop tech replace that service element, because I think the service element is a very strong selling point to clients, and we've proven that time and time again. Where prop tech is very useful for us is efficiencies. We are always looking for ways to help drive efficiency through to franchisees. We're always looking for efficiencies in the central business because we're all ultimately here to make money. So yeah, on that side, definitely a great fan. I guess I've probably seen less good prop tech around in the last couple of years. I think for obvious reasons. I think we are seeing a sort of shift where we saw 5 years ago mass investment in certain areas of prop tech. Not a lot of that has sort of borne fruit, I must admit, and you can see this with some of the sort of more tech-based property companies. And I imagine now we're getting past COVID that there were more prop tech sort of coming through in the next year or so.
Yeah, more solutions to look out for. Okay, well, that's great, Dorian. That's fantastic. Thanks so much for your time today and some brilliant answers. So really, really great to speak to you. So thank you again, Dorian Gonsalves, CEO of Belvoir. That's brilliant. Thank you very much. Speak soon.
Thanks, Matt.